That's key. Mammon, finance, when it comes to tyranny and world domination. But that system in North Korea couldn't exist on its own. It depended absolutely on outside powers, first on Stalin and Mao, to prop it up and get it going. I could think what's happening in the church now under Francis couldn't exist if it were just an internal matter of the church. It's being propped up by outside powers as far away as hell. And again, there's complex historical reasons and international forces for the situation in North Korea, but it comes down to sin. It is sin that must be overcome to set us free. Kim Il-sung died 30 years ago, yet he is proclaimed North Korea's eternal president. His birthday outranks Christmas Day there, obviously, and it's called the Day of the Sun. And his son, Kim Jong-il, has an even more elaborate nativity legend. It's called the Day of the Shining Star. Supposedly, his birth was accompanied by a double rainbow and a new star appearing and shining in the heavens to honor his birth in 1942 on the cherished Paktu Mountain. It's all lies. He was born in 1941 in Siberia, but how do you get away with such lies? And his son, now the president, Kim Jong-un, means son of the world. They build up these fictions. And if in Burma the people were afraid, in North Korea, I tell you, they are just exhausted. They've been on crisis footing since about 1949, as if there's a constant threat of war. The Korean War is officially not ended in 1953. But the people are exhausted by this threat of crisis, and that's what they're trying to do with us. With threats that there's going to be some cyber attack or disease X or financial collapse. They want us to be exhausted with fear. At that time, I mean, God turned prison from hell to heaven, and I had a long way to go for conversion, but I'm thinking in political terms what to do. I didn't really think that military intervention is going to solve anything in Burma or North Korea. I was thinking more of soft power, pressure, even looking into international law, but that's a deception. It's a legalism, which has nothing to do with justice. I figured out as well, I think, after this might sound shocking, but you know, justice exists in two places, I think, only. In God, He is justice, and in the imagination of idealistic teenagers. There is no justice in this world. I don't mean that we shouldn't aspire to be just. Of course we should, and we should fight for justice. Of course we should, but we're not going to get it in this world. But the idea of cutting off the head of the tyrant, that's not going to work. We read in Apocalypse 13, which is, somebody said today, Apocalypse 8:13, is connected with Fatima. And the beast which I saw was like to a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. This is globalism, or the United Nations. And the dragon gave the beast his own strength and great power. That's Satan giving power to the globalists. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, slain to death. That's what happens if you kill the tyrant, cut off the head. And his death's wound was healed, and all the earth was in admiration after the beast. It's no good cutting off the head of an evil regime, because he'll just grow back, just be replaced. Obliterating a so-called evil person is no solution, but their conversion is the solution, or else the head grows back. Tyrants will be replaced, Bergoglio will be replaced, unless the church acknowledges that his rule is anti-Catholic, Conversion is the solution. The conversion of poor sinners, conversion of ourselves, and finally the conversion of the Jews, which will certainly happen. Only the demons are our total enemy. Only the spiritual power is to be obliterated. It's the totalitarian will. In North Korea, there seems to be a unity. All have to parade and clap and smile together, or all have to break out in tears together if the dear leader has a bad breakfast. I don't mean to make fun of it. It's terrible. Their mass dances are minutely choreographed and trained for. They all applaud when they're forced to celebrate their leader's achievements. Reading that, I've read a lot of their propaganda, and you think it's ridiculous. You just think, who could believe this? The dear leader going to a catfish factory to tell the people who've worked there all their life how to do it better. Like he's a genius who knows every detail. And then I went to Rome and read L'Osservatore Romano and thought, blimey, this is where they got it from. The dear leader. And I'm not exaggerating. And this was under the reign of Pope John Paul II. And I admired him so much then. And I excused this kind of propaganda within the church because I said, well, he's the vicar of Christ. It's appropriate. And the other leaders want to copy that, want to ape that, the tyrants. But it's not appropriate to have this level of propaganda about a human being who's, much as I love John Paul II, he made mistakes, kissing the Quran or having a Buddha honored. And sticks in my mind is seeing him at a mass at World Youth Day swaying side to side with the young people. How gay. What's that to do with the liturgy? Yeah, how can he, great man, great soul, how can he do that to the mass? Yeah, I read a bunch of his encyclicals in prison, by the way, and they helped me so much, because I knew nothing about the faith. And he lifted it up. It's not a judgment on him, but even then the church is taking on these methods of propaganda that are appropriate to tyranny. And if this seems extreme, what about Francis trying to suppress the traditional liturgy? It's the most abominable thing. It's far worse than a political party trying to create a new national identity, as happened in North Korea with all these legends of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, and incidentally now the Kim Jong-un is gone quiet and all that. They've just got to start again with him because it gets too ridiculous. I mean, that unity of forcing everyone to do everything at the same time in North Korea, it makes me think of the Novus Ordo, where you all have to stand and sit at the same time and say the same words at the same time. And if you won't get with their program, they'll crush you. What father seeks to destroy the lives of those who do not fit into his worldview? And I was idealistic and stupid, thinking that the West might help the people in Burma or North Korea escape tyranny, and realized we're in the tyranny ourselves.